מדברים אמזון, הפודקאסט שמקלף את שכבות העולם הסבוך של אמזון, עם עמית רוזנטל ואלי ונטורה, שני יזמים ותיקים ומנוסים בעולם האי-קומרס. בואו נצא לדרך.
ברוכים הבאים לפרק מספר 42 של הפודקאסט מדברים אמזון. אני אלי ונטורה, איתי היום עמית רוזנטל, לא רק היום בכלל, והפודקאסט שלנו בחסות רוזנטל לוגיסטיקה מלווה יזמים ועסקים בכל שלבי שרשרת האספקה ומציעה פתרונות שילוח מתקדמים בעולם האי-קומרס ואמזון בפרט. אני מזכיר לכם שאת הפודקאסט שלנו אפשר לשמוע בספוטיפיי, גוגל פודקאסט, אפל פודקאסט ובערוץ שלנו ביוטיוב. והיום יש לנו פרק מיוחד עם כוכבים מאוד מאוד גדולים מאוסטרליה שעוד מעט אנחנו נציג אותם, ולכן הפרק יועבר באנגלית. אז תסלחו לי מראש על המבטא המקולקל שלי.
נעשה את הטוב ביותר, אלי.
אנחנו נעשה את המקסימום. So, good afternoon, good evening, Australia. Amit, please tell us.
Good evening, everybody. So, with us today is Michael and Jeymi. I know them from some venture we're doing together, but in general, they are most known in the Amazon community with their Facebook group, EndGame Network. I told you earlier this before, I believe, I never noticed any group that the people inside are so engaged like EndGame Network. And I'm sure it's said a lot about these both gentlemen. They are also Amazon sellers, so I was figured out that it would be a good idea to bring them both to listen to their journey. And Jeymi, Michael, welcome. We are highly appreciate your time and that you are being with us today.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome, mate. Anything for you, my friend. Anything for you.
Thank you. I can say that my English is very, getting much better throughout the journey with you guys because we speaking almost 3 times a week. Each session is almost 2 hours. So yeah. Something good will come out of it for sure.
No, you're doing well, mate. You're doing well.
Yeah, thank you.
So I believe you didn't have had the chance to listen to one of our episodes. So what we're doing, we are looking to hear your journey on Amazon.
Yep.
So I don't know if it was together from the beginning or you just combined on the way, but please take us a journey back in time about 6 months before you entered the Amazon world. What are you doing these days? How old are you? What motivates you to enter Amazon?
You go, Michael.
As you know, my name's Michael, and obviously been business partners with Jeymi for about just over 2 years now. But if we go back in time, I suppose prior to my journey into Amazon, I was actually drop shipping products from China directly to the US.
Which year are we talking about?
late 2018.
2018?
2018, yeah.
Okay.
So prior to that, I was in the tech world, had a business tech startup that was doing some pretty cool things in the US. And I remember being in Beverly Hills on a business trip, and I said, there's got to be another way to earn passive income. And I came across this Facebook ad about drop shipping. And then I kind of jumped on that. I researched it, and I started drop shipping products, like I said before, from China to the US. We had over 700 SKUs using Google Shopping. That was quite good, obviously using Facebook ads. But the thing about that I didn't like was the fact that, there was no branding. It was just off the shelf. I don't know what the product looks like. I didn't really like that aspect because I'm fairly creative.
You're talking about Shopify?
Shopify, yeah, using a Shopify store. Yep.
Okay.
So drop shipping and stuff. So from there, I stumbled across Amazon, joined various communities and launched a brand, which is very successful. We've got four ASINs at the moment. And then I met Jeymi within the community, and we kind of just gelled and we connected and we started talking, and then the rest is history. I suppose, Jeymi, you could sort of elaborate a bit more, but we started the EndGame Network, and like Jamie said before the show started, we're unlike other, I mean, there's lots of different groups and they're all great, but we try and do things differently. We try and, like last Monday night, we had 211 people live on a Zoom and we did a full product reveal.
Wow.
Brand name, you name it. So it was like full on, and we love giving back to the community. So that's kind of like a quick version of my journey and stuff. And Jamie and I together now, the EndGame Network, we've got a private mastermind group called the EndGame Access, and we just manage, various groups and help people and manage our various brands and the various projects that we're involved with as well. So it's busy, but we love e-com and the fact that, we get to educate people and help them make a difference in their lives.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a pretty good summary. For me, I started on Amazon in 2017. Before that, my family had a logistics business, but not like Amit's logistics business in the freight forwarding. We were more on transport. So my family had a transport company, a lot of containers, isotainers, and bulk liquids and different sorts of cargo, totally different than Amazon and e-com products. Big, bulky, freight. And I was heavily involved in the logistics family business, working 6-7 days, long days away from my family. Got 4 kids, and my wife, I never saw her. I never saw the kids. We had 4 children under 4 years old when our twins were born. It was crazy. Now they're all teenagers, so it's a little bit different. But I said to my wife, look, there has to be a better way for me to stop trading money for time if there's possible. And we started researching into products. My wife had always done things on like eBay and things like that, but we stumbled across, Amazon courses and the Amazon business model. It looked attractive. We couldn't fault it. Like Michael said, we're quite creative. My wife's very creative as well. We got to put our fingerprints on products. We got to, get involved in the whole product development and brand development. And that really appealed to us, that we could have control over what we wanted to create. And, the first year we launched, we had another business partner involved as well. So it was my wife and my business partner, not Michael in the Amazon business, another business partner. And we got to 7 figures real quick. We had some early success. It was, a great brand. We had some great unique selling proposition, which we talk about a lot, the USP side of things, having products with that, problem solving and multifunctionality. We looked at things differently. We didn't just get that cheese board and go launch the cheese board or the coffee cups or this. We really started to get into creative product development. And that was a big part of our success. Michael and I met.
I have a question. Yeah. Did you launch directly to USA?
Directly to USA.
Okay. Why didn't you launch in Australia?
In Australia, there's 25 million people, and in the US, there's 360 million people. Okay. When I first started, Amazon Marketplace wasn't in Australia. In 2017, It wasn't here. I think it came late 2018 or 19. So when we started, there was no Amazon in Australia. It's only the last 3 or 4 years, whatever it's been.
And now we are selling in Australia?
No, we still don't. Michael doesn't. A lot of our community do, but I would say 90% of our community is all in the US where the demand is.
So I have a question. So I have a small question in that regard. I know, I think Australia opened their first FBA roughly around 2018 or 19, right?
Yeah, correct.
So we can say here that the community in Israel of Amazon, let's say it really started growing dramatically, let's say by 2015, 16, right? So how is it in Australia in that regard? Here, everybody trying to earn, I don't know, money, and everybody trying, it's like a snowball. Everybody here, wow, there is an Amazon, let's try this business. How is it in Australia back in the days, 2-3 years ago, how people even know about Amazon and even started trying the Amazon business or Amazon model?
I think it was about 6 months in, Amit. We actually brought product out here that was very successful, 7-figure business out to Australia to test. And it was like ghost town. No one buying anything, compared to selling hundreds of units a day there, maybe 1 or 2 a month, same product, right? It was just people in Australia were always eBay shoppers. eBay's got a very strong footprint here in Australia. Also Catch, another business here, another marketplace. And so Amazon came, they didn't come to muck around. As you know, Amazon come to play serious games.
Right.
And it's probably 2-3 years. And now we're starting to see massive uptake in Australia of people shopping on Amazon because of our skill set, because of our community skill set. We're able to bring products here. We just haven't done that again. But there is no reason why in our niches now that we couldn't bring products to Australia and actually have some success. But always, it's probably still going to be 10 or 20% only of your Americans or US sales.
But why?
Yeah.
I try to understand, because here in Israel, we don't have a marketplace, an Amazon marketplace. So we the only chance to be is to sell in other marketplaces. And yes, the first choice will be USA. But I know many Israeli sellers that prefer to do their first step in smaller niche in Germany, UK, Italy, and even Australia. So why come the Australian sellers prefer to start their journey on US and not in Australia?
Look, it's going to come down to risk management and how you want to deploy your capital as an entrepreneur. For me and Michael, we always look at where's the best place to deploy our capital for return on investment. So if you think about 25 million people, there's kids, there's elderly, there's, we've probably got, I don't know, I'm just going to guess here, maybe 10 million people that actually can buy stuff on Amazon, right? Products on Amazon here. Whereas in America, you've got 360 million people. Your opportunity is much greater for the risk on return on investment. But I will say this. I understand where you're coming from because I heard you say, I'll go to Europe, I'll go to Germany, and I'll get into those smaller niches, right? I get that. But we're not afraid to play in the bigger niches because of our methodology. And our methodology is launching products that solve problems, launching products that we can see on page one. The competitors have missed out on opportunities to solve problems, have multifunctionality, enhanced products, have unbelievable branding. We can go into a niche and dominate in an area where everyone else thinks it's saturated because we're thinking like problem-solving entrepreneurs.
Problem-solving entrepreneurs. Love it.
If I could add, I think there was a real push towards the US market from the Australian sellers is because I think that the two sort of big platforms that can provide data were very much US based. And I think a lot of people felt protected knowing that they could go into a niche in America. They could see the average revenue was, $22,000 and there was enough eyeballs there for them to do the work, create the product, ship it over to America, and then potentially make sales. So I think the data like Helium 10 obviously had lots of data on the US market, and then they've spread out to other markets as the years gone by. So I think that was a big factor in why everyone's targeted the US as well.
And if you think about Helium 10, it's only been, and Zonguru, they're the main two software companies that, Aussie sellers use, Helium 10 or Zonguru, right? Now, it's only been late last year where the data is in now from those software companies, as Michael said, on the Australian marketplace. If you brought products out here, there's no brand analytics, there's no data, it's a new marketplace. How do I know what's going to happen here?
So on that, I have a question. On that point, I have a question. Like, this podcast is basically almost solely related to sellers only. Like, we don't bring service providers because we want to engage like people to listen to our podcast from a seller point of view. Yeah. And from the people we interviewed till today, so I think Eli and I, like, we always like people always advise us on maybe two options. Like, rather they choose a product based on data. They're searching for the right product. They're searching for if the
demand.
Yeah, about the demand and so on. Or if another option is that people are relate to the product itself. Like if you are a mom, so you're going and choose a product related to something, I don't know, for your baby, a blanket, a stroller, or whatever. With your experience with Amazon sellers, how people normally choose their product, rather by data or rather by something which is like related to the person itself?
Oh, we could talk about this for about three hours, Michael.
I'll say there's probably two trains of thought here. You've got certain Amazon sellers that find a particular product. There may be a little bit of data and they just launch it. And it's a Me Too product and it gets lost amongst the crowd and it's very difficult to sell. PPC might be expensive and stuff. So there are those types of sellers like that may be a mum and they might want to sell in the baby niche because they're passionate about it, but they make their decision based on their passion, which is fine, but sometimes we see people get in trouble. Our methodology is quite simple in that we always want data. We want to make sure that we're commercial with our decisions and that there's demand and there's eyeballs that will look at our products and purchase them, right? That's the first thing. We always look at the data, certain amount of money per month, et cetera, in terms of revenue, average prices, above $25, all that sort of stuff. The real big thing that we think sets us apart and something we really push is that we have this saying, what have the competitors missed that the customers need? And if you can answer that question and visually represent that feature in a hero image, we believe with data and what we call USP, you can win. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say you go to page 1 on Amazon in the US and you type in coffee cups, right? And every single coffee cup doesn't have a handle. I know they have handles, but this is just an example.
Yeah.
So you can come there and go, right, I know what the customers need. They need a handle, but all the competitors have missed it. Our USP is putting the handle on, showing it in a beautiful hero image, and our product will stand out because when people buy, the psychology of buying, people are making micro mental judgments. So
but
when they're scanning...
how do you know that the customer looking for the handle?
Well, we live in the customer's experience.
Exactly right. So the thing we do, we go, hey, look at this, Jamie. This is interesting. Hot coffee, right? So what we do is we actually interact and act as though we're using the product. I've poured the hot water. It's actually a good question you asked. We pour the hot water into the cup. I pick it up. My fingers are burning. Right, we need the handle. So we actually live in the experience to create the USP, which we know the customers need. So,
super interesting.
It's
So your market research.
I will say I just lost my train of thought there, but will go back. Customers, and I've done this. I've actually monitored it myself. When people go to page 1, they're making what I said before, micro mental judgments, and our role is to have the micro mental judgment they make about our product to be a positive one compared to the competitors. I don't like that one. It's too big. Hate the color. Look at that. Oh, look at this one. That's got a handle. They've thought of me. Bang, they buy. That's all we're doing in this game. We back it up with data, but we've got to get their thought processes to say, I identify with that. And that's what we're all about in terms of USP.
But what you're describing is it's one of the most complicated things to do. You need to think like your customer. You are 100%, Ellie. It's very hard, but in this day and age, in such a competitive game that we're all in, you have to be able to paint. You have to be able to get creative. Not every idea is going to be good, but you have to put them all out on the table. And we like to call it the 5 knockout punches. We try to add 5 USP, unique selling propositions to each product if we can. This, that, bang, bang, purchase. Everyone else has missed it. Enhance multifunctionality. And you're right. It's very hard to do it.
But that's why we have the confidence to go into a market. Once we've established demand, once we've established keyword, master lists, once we've seen what the competitors are like at Amazon and how they're ranking and, what their ability is, we can then go, okay, and the data, the demand is there. Now let's paint. We have to be artists. Always use the methodology of this. You can go to a restaurant or a bar and you can see a band playing, right? You can see the band playing up there and they're playing, let's say, the Rolling Stones. Everyone knows the Rolling Stones, right? And the musicians, they're playing the Rolling Stones exactly like the album. It's exact. The singer sounds like it. The guitarist sounds like the Rolling Stones. The drummer sounds like the Rolling Stones. If you close your eyes, it's the Rolling Stones. But there's so many talented musicians in the world, but there's only a few that could create the hits. Because if they could create the hits, they would be on the big stadium playing the music. So I know that that's, very, easy for me to say, but we back our ability to create the hit.
So your point of view, I want to highlight something because it's really, really important. And I want to understand that I understand you correctly. Every product that you want to produce, you're looking for at least 5 USPs.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
For sure.
And we, as I said, Jamie, before, we launched a product reveal for our program, and I'm happy to talk about that in terms of what the product was. So Jamie and I was down in Melbourne where Jamie lives. We were having a catch up for holidays, and I saw a projector on Jamie's table. And an idea came to mind. I said, "Hey, let's check out projector stands on Amazon." Right. So,
but there was a reason why we looked at it, because the way I had it on the table was with a box and a bit of wood and this and that. And we had the kids, we bought a projector for their Christmas. We had the big projector stand, and I didn't have a projector stand. I just put on the table. We had to get it at the right height. I had boxes, books, this, that, book, levels. And we tried to make it like as best we could on the table. Michael saw it. Anyway, you go, Mick.
Yeah. So I went, hang on, what's going on here? An idea came to mind. I said, hang on, there's got to be a projector stand. Let's check it out on Amazon. So we did, right? Some of the competitors were doing 180,000 a month, 119, 70, 50. We thought, okay, there's demand. We established there was demand. But then we looked at USP and we said, what have the competitors missed that we know the customers need? Now you think about it, right? Here's our USP. First of all, you use projector stands in the dark because you put the projector on, it's dark and you're watching a movie or playing a game. Not one competitor included a little light to just light up the back of the projector so you can make some adjustments, right? Number one. Number two, Jamie was using an Apple TV, which is about that big, okay? And it was just sitting on the table. What we did, we added a mid tray. So there's a top tray. We added a small tray underneath so you can place things there and connect it to the projector. We looked at cable hooks to organize the cables, a really nice foot system where the feet were actually flat on the floor compared to the competitors. And we had, lastly, guidelines on the top of the tray to help you line it up with the wall perpendicularly. So it's perfect and you don't have to do a thing called keystoning. But we found 5 things that the competitors have missed that we know the customers need. We got all the 3D renders drawn up, and it was an amazing product that we launched tomorrow.
Wow.
And
we always think like that.
And one of the things as well, Michael, the 6th thing, there was no branding whatsoever. So when we branded it, it was an amazing brand, an amazing, I don't know if you want us to share an image. I don't know if you've got that image from today, Michael, maybe if you want to share it on the podcast, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I've got an image here if you want to see it.
It'd be great to show the audience because then you can see exactly what we did. If you have a look at the competitors and you have a look at our image, it's just like, that's where I'm going to go with that product. I'm going to purchase that every day. So actually, when you think about it, we had a look at the top 20 competitors, probably the first Alpha 6, the 6 competitors, the best 6, were doing between $80,000 and $130,000 a month. With all our USP, we sourced it, we priced it up, we did the full COGS, we did a full presentation for our group last Monday from brand keyword idea, developing the brand, the USP, the COGS, the way we'd ship it, our first order, sourcing the products, conversations with the suppliers, the whole lot from start to finish. This is how you're going to survive these days, guys. These are the sort of things that we do.
I have to say that I'm relate to what you say, guys, super, mainly because, you know, me as a service provider, like I don't selling specific, let's say, physical product, but the mindset should be the same. Like you should always trying to figure out who is your competitors, what they are doing, and what are your customers looking for, and try to manipulate towards your client, because eventually the clients are the ones that paying to you or to me or whoever. And if you're gonna build a system, and it's for any service provider, if you will know who is your customer and what's the client are looking for on the specific service, so you will be able to adjust much better products or much better service throughout like your journey as a business owner. And I can absolutely relate to what you guys are saying. I think it's amazing.
Okay, but I want to ask questions regarding this.
Of course.
Ellie is the person with the hard questions here.
I love it.
Amazing. Ellie is the one with the hard questions.
The hard questions, Jeymi will answer.
Perfect. I really love the methodology. I think it's perfect. But I believe that you agree with me that if you are doing one differentiation, two differentiation, the cost of goods will be higher from one differentiation to another. And if you do 5, it's a huge differentiation from the plain vanilla product. So your pricing might be much higher than the competitors when you launch your product.
In this product validation, we had, I think, Michael, 33% margin. I think it was something around that.
Our launch price would have been $39.99, which would have been probably below average, and that
below
was
average.
28
below
average price.
Below average.
And
that's fully priced up with a Chinese supplier. This isn't just makeup. This is actual priced up. And then our target price was $44.99, which would have been a 36% margin.
Whoa.
Yep.
And that was in the middle. And that was in the middle. There was competitors at 49 and 38. We'd launch at 39, bump up to 44 after, you know, a certain amount of reviews and, you know, customer experiences and, you know, the whole establishment of organic sales and getting the algorithm to know exactly who we are and what we are. And then we'd get to 44.95, not a problem. And that was with a 36% margin. But you are right. It doesn't work out all the time.
Yeah.
But what we like to do is do it often. We do this every day, day in, day out with our group, with our mastermind. We live in this space. So sometimes you can price things up and go, oh, look, we're going to be just pricing ourselves out of the market here. And you move on. You know when to stay and you know when to move. You know?
Okay. So
with that, just the beauty about having unique selling proposition is that not only do you help customers identify their needs with your product, but USP also gives you the opportunity to show perceived value as well. So our product, we've got products in our niche that are like half price, but the way we've structured our brand and our USP, people look at that and go, I can't not buy that one. So we sell at a higher price. So like Jeymi said, we're very commercial. We're not going to put 5, USP sort of variations on the product and it's going to cost us $70 a unit. And it's, we can't do that, but
no,
we adapt as we go per product.
Is it a deal breaker? Or did you try it?
What's that? This product?
The pricing. Is it a deal breaker if it's, let's say, 30% up the average price?
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't risk my capital there because you know what? We feel like we've got the mindset to find other opportunities, so we won't just stop. You know, it's like, okay, that one didn't work. Let's start again. Let's do another one. Let's look again, make sure one works.
Do you use some kind of polls like PickFu or something like this in order to validate your thoughts?
Yeah, you go, Michael.
Yep. I've used PickFu in the past to sort of work out, I suppose the way I used it was to work out our best hero image. But when we work on our USP, the technique Jamie and I use, like as another example, we did a product reveal for a keyword, and I encourage your listeners and watchers of your YouTube channel to check it out. The keyword's rain barrel. So a rain barrel is connected to your downpipe, and it allows you to create, capture water in a barrel that's about 80 gallons, right? And then you can have outlets in there and sort of get the water out and use hoses and stuff. Well, Jamie and I sat down and we said, right, this is what we did. We open the sliding door, we go outside, we look to our left and we see the rain barrel there connected to the downpipe, right? We started doing this. Out of that discussion and that act of actually being an owner of the product, we worked out one really important thing. All the competitors missed the fact that there's no indication to let the person know how full the water barrel is. So
water gauge.
Water gauge, sorry.
Water level gauge.
Water level gauge. When you're looking at the competitors' products, there's no way of telling how much water's there. So we added a water gauge to show you the level visually with an orange ball at the top. And it's simple. It was cheap. I mean, when we priced it up, it was like the tube was like 20 cents. But when people look at that page and they're looking for a rain barrel, right? Do you think the one that tells them how much water is in the barrel is going to capture their attention the most because you can see it in the hero when everyone else has missed it? Of course. We've seen it so many times.
Another thing, living in the experience, because I live on a farm and we actually have to capture our water. So I knew that when it rains, there could be, things in your gutter. And as it's coming down the water, you're going to get leaves, you're going to get rubbish coming down. No competitor had a leaf basket. So we implemented a leaf basket, a removable leaf basket. So as the rain came in, I could take the leaf basket out, empty the rubbish, put it back on. Practical things. Everyone had plastic fittings. We went for brass for longevity. It wasn't much extra. From plastic to brass in China, it was cents. And then branding and the whole thing. And we did different things as well. They were collapsible water barrels. We halved our boxes and our size of our boxes and all that sort of stuff. But I want to just sort of go in this area, and I know, we're coming up to time with you guys and stuff like that. But what me and Michael want to really express is we've seen people get burnt in subjectivity niches. That's what we call them. When products are your sales and your income and revenue is based on someone's taste. And that's a no-no for us. So if you're selling curtains or drapes and there's blue and pink and white and someone goes, I really like to get into these curtains and drapes, I'm going to do the white ones with the polka dots because there's no white ones with polka dots. We don't go there because then it's up to that whole niche, people that like white with polka dots.
Yeah.
You can't predict ROI. You can't predict growth in your business and scalability. But when you come up with problem-solving products, you know that you can become the alpha ASIN over time in that niche. What another thing we do is we call them keyword soldiers, where we have products with different keywords. We don't sabotage our own listings. So the projector stand. We also looked at DJ laptop stands for future products for that brand. DJ karting equipment like trolleys to bring the gear in for the DJ. And then also another product we found with a keyword was iPad. What was it, Michael? It was
iPad check-in stand.
Check-in stand. So when you're going, anti-theft iPad, anti-theft iPad stands. It had our brand written all over it, right? It had our brand written all over, but 4 different keywords. We'd go into there, look at USP, go in with 5 knockout punches everywhere, and we can get more bang for our buck knowing that we're not staying in one keyword. We can get our 30, 40,000 from there. We can get our 20, 30,000 from there. We can get our 70,000 from that keyword. And the risk is then diversified.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, we're approaching to the end of the session, but I do want to ask a few questions. One question, and I know you try to ignore it, but let's talk 2 minutes about the Australian market. Do you think that in about 3 or 4 years from now, the Australian marketplace will be much bigger and every seller in US have to sell in the Australian marketplace?
They're coming now. It's big now.
Yeah.
We need to start looking at bringing our products here too now. The Zongura and Helium 10, the data has started just before Christmas, I think October, on all the sales velocities in Australia. You can look now to see what your niches are doing. Nice. Australia is starting to boom. And if you've got footprint here and you're set up, you're ready to go, you'll do all right. All the overseas sellers are now bringing stock here. Before, it was order from the US to get gear here. Now they're bringing all their inventory here. So you don't worry about 2 or 3 years. It's happening now.
Got it. Okay. That's one good statement.
When Amazon wants to come to a country and dominate, they come and dominate because they've got so much money. So yeah, but it's here, ready to go.
Australia, the Australia marketplace was a huge case study for Amazon because they launch FBM, doesn't succeed. The Australian people continue to buy from US. And then I remember that Amazon, I think, banned the Australian people to go to Amazon.com.
Yeah.
But they didn't give up.
What I will say with Australia now is just remember our population. Don't send too much stock. Try something small, some LCL, smaller shipments to try it out because, we've got a small population. You still have to remember that. Although Amazon's becoming the #1 shopping marketplace, you have to remember our population. It's never going to be the same as US. It's never.
Yeah. Shipping
to give you an idea of size.
Okay.
To give you an idea of size, America has 80 Sydneys, and Sydney is our biggest city. So that just goes to show how big America is compared to Australia.
It's also there is I believe there is a big different mentality between the Australian, like I know there is, between the Australian people and the Americans concerning consumer and buying stuff and so on. So there is also the difference.
But it's a huge country and
the distance
between areas
is enormous.
It's very far. It's very far.
In Israel, if you want to buy something, you just jump 5 minutes to the mall and buy it.
Max. 5 minutes max.
Yeah.
Look, in our major cities, it's like that. But yeah, as soon as you go an hour and a half out of our major cities, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Let's talk about the shipping. 1 minute about the shipping. The shipping from China to Australia is cheaper than China to US? Amit, maybe you can...
it's cheaper a bit and it's faster for sure. So
faster.
So the transit time is something about 25 days that, compared to US now, which we can go to 60, 90 days. By air, in any case, it's a direct flight, so it's not a problem. But shipping-wise, it's going to be a bit cheaper to ship to Australia. But you have to remember, as Jeymi said, it's not the same volume. So it's difficult to compare between people sending, 40 high tubes or 50 CBM. So people sending 4 or 5 CBM, there is a difference in general, the cost. So it's hard to compare between the two.
I think I will take it right. I will research my niche and maybe I will send few boxes from my
that's what you do.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah. Let's last question. Your community, the EndGame Networks.
Mm-hmm.
The Israeli can go there as well. or it's
Of course.
closed for Australian only?
Yeah, that's how we met Amit, and everybody's welcome in our community. We don't have any restrictions on where you're from or anything like that. We're just a community to help everybody. It just so happens to be that there's a lot of Australians and New Zealanders, but we've got people from everywhere in our group.
Perfect. So feel free to search on Facebook, the EndGame Network.
For sure. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jaymi and Michael, I want to thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to meet you. I think it was a perfect episode and unique episode. And the highlight, if I need to highlight all the last 40 minutes, 5 USPs.
Yeah.
If you can do that and come in with the right cost, you're going to win. With the right branding, that's how you're going to survive in this game, I believe.
And to solve problem.
Exactly.
It's all about solving problems.
All about solving problem. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you.
It was really good.
Appreciate it. Anytime.
Thanks to your audience. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.